In this Thru experience, I found myself being a cellist, as in the current physical incarnation. I was in a hotel room prior to go to a rehearsal and a concert, followed by a second concert. The hotel was booked by the orchestra manager for the performers. I felt very tired and went to bed. I was not asleep, but a dark veil encompassed me and made me not being able to move and think clearly. I felt very lethargic. The next thing I remember, waking in brackets up, in quotation marks, waking up from this spell, I was late. I was supposed to be at the rehearsal, but I was late, or at least that was the impression I was given. There were 2 concerts missed. I still felt very lethargic. Although I had a chance to be present at the second concert, I lost confidence in myself and started doubting myself, asking the question, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I forced myself out of bed and then tried to go out of the hotel. In the foyer, the manager of the orchestra shouted at me, "I'll charge your debit card, since you missed the concert." Then I asked, "What about the second one?" She answered with frustration, "It is not until tomorrow." That meant I had to stay in the hotel for another night. On top of the extra cost, I realized the next day is Thursday. I'm normally teaching on Thursdays. I cannot be staying another day. Now it was suggested to me I was in a different town. I'll miss my teaching if I have to stay for another day. I had to decide one or the other. Before finalizing anything, I went to speak to the conductor to apologize for missing the first concert. When I reached the dark hall, I noticed that he didn't care much, almost like nothing had happened. But he asked me, "You need to help me with the Baroque style interpretation for the next concert." I agreed, but it was suggested to me that the second concert is not going to be until the next month. It was a relief for me. I can do my teaching and help the conductor and do the 2 things. The experience transitioned into a second one connected to the first one. I started walking on the street and reached a block of flats where on the top floor the concertmaster of the orchestra lived. I know him from the physical, and he was exactly the same as in the physical. He told me, "I do not care much about this orchestra. That is why I'm not bothered to go anymore." Well, that was a short answer and the end of the second experience. Then I had a third one. I found myself in a disturbing, clinically white room with a few sofa beds and one tablet-sized computer screen within one of the walls. It was the teaching studio of another violinist who I know from the physical. He was boasting, "My student got on the TV." When I looked at the tiny screen, I saw a boy playing around with a cowboy hat, his father sitting next to him doing the same too, and the journalist. I didn't see any violin and got puzzled. I had to climb and walk through one of the sofa beds to go out of the room, following the example of my colleague. Here, I went out of the experience and came back to the physical.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah, I didn't feel, although the dark presence, I thought that was probably the influence, but I didn't feel scared or how to say, or yeah, it was fun. Yeah, on the fun side, I must say, yes.
Well, it's that, but it's really all you. So again, you're going through this process, and we all have to deal with the personal self. Okay, so the personal self, as you go along in your experience, it has a schedule, doesn't it? That's your personal self. You set up this life. You've created the personal self. You have the schedule. And there are other things going on. The performances. Okay, so you look at your personal life, just like here, and then you have this other lifestyle where you perform, you see? And so look at all the motions that you're going through. Now, there's one point where, yes, someone, the management or whatever, gets upset with you. Yeah, that's one point, because that's referring to the personal self. Now, as you go along, in the conductor or whoever overall was not really concerned. All right. So that again is another guide. So you have both actions going on there, and as you go through the process, you see is, I had to kind of laugh as you were talking about this, because it's just really cool once you understand the process you're going through with the personal self. Okay, because the personal self is in darkness, and it really doesn't know what it's doing, even though it thinks it does. So we go through a lot of process to finally figure this out. But in the meantime, you have a schedule that you created, which is fine. It's all fine. And so all of this is to help you recognize what's real. So I look at it, you just look at each part of this. It's very good. Um, and learn to see how each part of this entails you waking up. That's what all creation is about, anyhow. It's not about good or bad or right or wrong, or you missed something or whatever. No, because everything's now. Okay, whether you did or not, it's all now. It's like the lifetimes that we came across guidance, real guidance, and we, left it. We said no, because it's all about attention, attitude, focus is what it is, because everything is always now. And it's all okay, like the sun shining in the air we breathe. There's no attitude, it's not concern. It always is. But your experience is a lot of fun there as you go through it. And this is where I suggest to people to write their life story, because now you have guidance, you have an awareness as you've come into this lifetime. And as you start to write your life story, the real you is going to start to see more so the relationship with the personal self that you created, because you need this to help you recognize what is real. Yes, it's more so. And also, I've seen for the longest time, and I wrote it in this last image that Ava wrote too, we've all come through the process of many things, and that is the religious, spiritual, political, educational systems, etc. And we've picked up a lot of labels and identities and ideas from them. Well, we have nothing to do with them. And especially this one where eventually you become spiritual. Okay, it's like you go beyond religion and you become spiritual and enlightened. Well, that's fine. It has nothing to do with the real universes and the real guides. And then you pick up these other attitudes, and one of them is being a warrior. Well, that again is with the spiritual idea. We're not warriors at all in any sense. We're like the air you breathe, the sun shining, and the endless sky. There's no attitude. Those people that think that they're warriors in the spiritual sense and they're conquering the darkness or whatever, that's attitude. That's with the personal self. The real you has no attitude. Again, like the sun shining, there's no attitude. It's awareness. It's seeing and being. This is the position of the new presentation. So we don't have attitudes. We don't have any of this nonsense anymore. We've gone through that process. That's with all the babysitters. They're still doing that, and I see how they're projecting these ideas of a like a man and a woman with great strength, like bodybuilders, and they have all these uniforms on, and they're with giant tigers and animals and stuff. And again, attitude, okay, showing strength. Again, that refers to the personal self. It's not about strength. All life is awareness. It's precious, sincere. The real seers that I refer to are those that can see the is. Yeah. And so again, everyone has to go through their process to really be able to see this reality, not just as a reference, but in the meantime, we use references to actually train the personal self to focus on what is real, the here now isness. And this is the fun part. This is the best part. This is a real life where this life that we're living, that we've created with the personal self, it's a phenomena. It's a simulator. But it's okay. We choose our simulator. We choose our avatar, you might say, etc. But all that exists with it has nothing to do with your real awareness. Your real awareness is clean. There's none of this stuff. There's no attitudes. There's all these things, etc. This all belongs to the personal realms. So we're real is what we is. Yes, thank you, Nikolay. It's all there for you. It's a lot of fun, step by step. And again, it's giving you hints to where eventually you decide. It's only you can decide, you know. Nothing can be given to you in the true sense because you must recognize it. So you are given experiences, just like if your parents paid for college for you, you're given that experience, but you got to do the homework. You got to figure it out. Yeah, it all comes to that no matter what. You have to decide. You have to have that focus. You have to decide to have that focus, that isness focus. Yes, thank you for sharing.